Didn't see you there. It's been a while. I'm the harbor master here at the big harbor. I better look a little different than the last time we've seen each other. Oh, I was just saying goodbye to my friends, the tugboats. So many wonderful faces here in the big harbor. Would you like to meet them? Yeah, there's a little time. Come on, let's take a look. Hello everybody, Train King James here with another Wooden Railway review. And today we are going to talk about the Brio Theodore Tugboat line. This line ran from 1998 to 2000 to coincide with the television series Theodore Tugboat. And unlike its sister show Tugs, it actually made a good amount of merchandise, and over the last few years I've managed to collect a few of the pieces right here. So with that, I figured we'd do a review since I've gathered enough here, and I don't anticipate collecting much more in the future, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so let's get into the characters I do have. So among my collection, I do have all of the tugboats that were introduced in Brio. I own Chester, the Dispatcher, and Clayton the Crane. So as to where I got all of these, Theodore was a Christmas gift this past December from Thomas Wooden Railway, and I actually managed to buy the other tugs over the summer from a good friend of mine, Wooden Railway only. Chester I found one day on eBay, the Dispatcher I purchased during my trip in Chicago, and Clayton the Crane was actually the first Theodore tugboat item I got. It was a local hobby store to me that was closing down a few years ago, and they were basically selling off stuff, and they had stuff that was out of box sitting in the back that was for sale, and one of those was Clayton the Crane, and I picked him up. Figured it'd be nice to have in my collection. So yeah, that's how I managed to obtain all of this. So with that, let's get into some of the notable features of the Theodore tugboat items. Something very different to other Wooden Railway lines, whether it be with Brio itself or with Thomas Wooden Railway or many other kids' toys, is the items actually have posable eyes, which is a really nice feature. It's something where you can actually position them to look a certain way. Sometimes when I film my series, the characters' eyes aren't necessarily looking at the right area. Most of the time they do look forward, but they tend to be looking either one direction or another, and it may not necessarily fit the scene very well. But it's fine, it's not a big thing I think about. Other people do, which is why they do eye animation. But with Theodore Tugboat, it's not something you have to do it with these models. These models, literally, you just twist their hats and it turns their eye, and that's such a really cool feature to position their eyes in such a way. Another thing I like is all of the characters have magnets on their sides, which is so that the tugboats can hook up to the barges that exist in this line, or Chester himself, which is a really nice feature, something that isn't present in the Wooden Railway line with its boats, but we'll get to that later. And really just another thing I want to talk about is these models are really nicely modeled, really accurate. It's so different than even Thomas Wooden Railway, where there's clear concessions made on how to design these. This just looks like a smaller version of what they did in the show, obviously with magnets on the sides instead of tires. But it really looks nice, and I think they did a good job designing these characters in Brio. Really, really great job by Brio. Now let's compare with some of the boats from Thomas. Obviously, I have the Sodor Bay Tugboat, the Sodor Bay Cargo Ship, and Bulstrode, and I also brought in the Brio Cargo Ship. And while these models look pretty nice, a problem is they don't have the same connective ability that the Brio tugboat models do. They don't have magnets. There's nothing to connect the Sodor Bay tugboat to the cargo ship, so you have to either use a rubber band or a string or something else to connect the two. Meanwhile, though, for the Theodore tugboat items, you can just use the magnets, and that is such a smart idea for a line, Brio, that's very familiar with using magnets. I'm surprised that they didn't continue that tradition with their own items, as this cargo ship doesn't connect to anything. And I'm sure if Wooden Railway and Brio had thought to do it with their other boats, it'd be really interesting to see how compatible these models would be now. all in all, not a lot to say about these because they're just really done well. So, it's a pretty nice line, relatively easy to pick up the items. I will say the boats, the tugs themselves are the easiest. Once you go beyond them, it gets complicated. The reason why I said I probably won't pick up the rest is I might go after the barges. I'm not sure, and I'm pretty confident I'm not going to find Benjamin Bridge. But if that happens, who knows? Maybe I'll do another review and follow up. But yeah, if you're a fan of Theodore Tugboat and you really like the show, I think it's worth picking up the models. So with that, let's get into some grades. Thanks for coming down to the Big Harbor. It was really fun showing you all my friends. Now I have to get going. I can smell dinner at home. See you guys.